Europe began preparing for the second winter in the conditions of a full-scale war by Russia against Ukraine and the refusal of gas supplies from the Federation in advance. The EU has filled underground storage facilities to an average of 95% 2 months ahead of the schedule. The weather was also helpful. Last winter was warm and about 25% of blue fuel remained in reserves. The 100 billion cubic meters that the EU has accumulated will be enough to cover a third winter demand, experts say.
Since the beginning of the full-scale aggression against Ukraine, the European Union has reduced supplies of Russian gas by about 85%. One can even say that not so much the European Union itself, but rather Russia itself, using gas blackmail, hoping that the countries of the European Union would succumb to that blackmail. They essentially imposed these sanctions on themselves.
At the same time, Russian gas is still not included in any EU sanctions package. Therefore, it is too early to talk about a 100% refusal of the EU from Russian natural gas. During the last 18 months, it was impossible to change the supply system. Russia has exported gas to Europe for decades, experts remind. However, the EU is on the way to a complete rejection of Russian gas. The EU countries do not intend to continue the contracts concluded with Gazprom after their completion.
There are states that are still diversifying the roads through which Russian natural gas comes, and there are companies that are simply unable to refuse Russian supplies, since this will lead to colossal fines that they must pay, and the government, of course, is not able to compensate the full extent of these losses.
To win the gas war unleashed by the Kremlin, Europe is not only building LNG terminals and implementing energy-saving and energy storage programs. Russian supplies, despite Moscow's threats, were replaced with gas from other countries.
This applies to the United States of America. This is LNG gas. You know that 3 terminals for receiving liquefied gas has been built in Germany, and the construction of new terminals continues in the future, not only in Germany but also in other countries. The volume of LNG supplies from Qatar, North African countries and Norway has increased.
But Russia so far seems to have outplayed itself on the gas war. Due to falling prices and the abandonment of Russian resources, Gazprom's revenues are declining and the Federation has nothing to replace the European market with. Colossal investments are required to redirect supplies to China. The Power of Siberia 2 project, which could supply blue fuel through Mongolia to China, also remains on paper.
There are no alternative markets for Russian natural gas. There are simply none, period. Because for more than half a century, first the Soviet Union and then the Russian Federation, they have been tying Europe to themselves with numerous strings of gas pipelines, the capacity of which was many times greater than the capabilities of the Russian Federation to export gas. This was a deliberate policy, and it was intended to use natural gas as a political lever.
At the same time, for the first time, Ukraine plans to get through the winter using its own gas. This is stated by the Naftogaz state gas extracting company. The price of gas will be stable in Ukraine, Naftogaz management promises. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Larisa Zubenko, UATV News.